Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for yet another late night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. We've got a ton of news and information to get into with you here tonight on the broadcast. So thanks for staying up late with us, or if you're not staying up late with us tonight, you're listening to us on a rebroadcast or a podcast or a YouTube video or something like that later on, then thanks to you for being here as well tonight. Weird stuff. There we go. Weird stuff going on. Background noise and weird shit. Always does that. Ghosts in the machine after so long. So I can bump this up. There we go. It's getting a little bit better. Driving me crazy with the technology over here. But, yeah, I hope you had a nice weekend. I went and played an out-of-town show over the weekend that was fucking calamity, but it was fun nonetheless. We rocked out and got to play our first out-of-town show in Oklahoma, Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Interesting there. Man, I cannot for the life of me figure out what has been going on lately with my sound. It's like all of a sudden my microphone and all my stuff just has not been working right, or the shows have not been sounding as good lately, and I can't for the life of me figure out what's going on with this. It's driving me crazy. Oh, man. Ghosts in the machine. My website where this broadcast originates from is www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. And you can also email me, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's where you can reach me and send in emails to the broadcast. Whatever you want to send in there, I'll do my best to read them on there. We've been getting a lot lately. I've been getting confused with some. We've been getting so many. I've been getting confused on who's sending what, and I apologize for that. But globalrealityshow@gmail.com. It's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's where you send that over, and I'll do my best to get into everybody's. This is still not right. I can't figure out what's going on with this. Crazy. Let's see here. Check. Hello. Better, worse. Let me see here. That might be a little better. I don't know what's happening with this thing. Turn that way down. Turn this up. I've tried everything I can here. I just don't know what's happening. Bad tube. Okay. Well, it seems to be lining up okay. Let me try to see if I can just plug this thing straight into my board and see if any changes here. Let's see. me try this. Huh. Well, it seems to be a little bit better, doesn't it? I don't know. And we're not going through any processing or any let me try to EQ it a little bit here. Unfortunately, this kind of mic that I'm using here kind of requires a preamp. Huh. Oh, this is a calamity. All right. I'm going to keep trying here, see what I can get. Looks like that's probably going to be as good as it gets, at least for now. I don't know. Does that sound any kind of okay out there? I'll just have to gate it, try to gate everything out, boost it up over here on this side. But nonetheless, we're going to have a show nonetheless. I have too much important information tonight to let things like, shitty studio equipment that doesn't work half the time or anything else. Yeah, if it's bad, at least you know it's not the mic. Yeah, I didn't figure it was the mic. It must be that too preamp. I think I spilled something on that thing a while back, and that may be the problem here. It seems to be getting a little bit better. I've got everything cranked up, is about as high as I can get it, about as hot as I can get it. But hopefully that sounds better. If it does, let me know in the chat room there. And that's also, you can join us for the interactive part of the discussion in the chat room at my website, www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. Love to see you all in there for the interactive part of the scene. That does sound, I think that it sounds, at least to me, sounds a little better. I don't know if it sounds better on your end, though, but yeah, I think that's at least doable. Again, my website, www.theglobalreality.com. Sorry we're getting started kind of ramshackle here tonight, but I wasn't expecting that to happen. So I guess I'm going to have to add that to my other list of gear that's falling apart. My high-definition camera just quit working out of nowhere. Last two times I tried to shoot with it, it starts filming for a couple of seconds, and then it just shuts off. And I can't find any way to fix it. I mean, I bought that thing back in 2009, refurbished. It was on it was like $400. It was like a little Canon off of Tiger Direct. But some of the stuff I've got to do with it has been better than the old camera I used to have. But so now that's so now I've got that standing in my way, and I'm rushing to get the film done and get it out before the end of August. But that's not having my camera is setting me back now because I don't have anything to shoot my original footage with for the film now. Just stuff of me talking and things like that. So that on top of, I guess now I've got a tube preamp out. That's another $200. So that, I'm doing the best here with what I've got, folks. That's what I've been doing for a long time. So I'm going to continue to try and do that as best I can. That's all I can do is just trying to do the best I can with what I got and continue to push forward with trying to get the message out. Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know if I can get into this thing. It's a little DBX table preamp, and it's just doesn't look like it has very many places where you can take it apart. You know what I mean? But we'll have to see. All right. Let's see what we have to talk about here tonight on the show. I started off my day today seeing this video being posted around, and I plan on writing an article to put this out because I want this to be known, because I'm still seeing this right before the show started here tonight, still being posted on social networking sites and forums and everything else, and being touted as the real deal. Is this video from CNN where CNN is talking about the appearance of a huge hidden object in space It could be a dwarf star or a planet found in our solar system. Now, the people that are putting this out are saying that this was posted yesterday and they filmed this off of television, and people are saying that this was shown on TV. Well, I have completely and 100% fully debunked this, and I will detail that information with the facts for you right here tonight on the Global Reality. So first off, we have this video, CNN 2011 Nibiru alert. And everybody was looking for this, and it's been picked up by several news sites and conspiracy sites. And these are all videos from today, news articles from today saying CNN is covering this up. Here's one from the Agora Cosmopolitan, which has been shilling out, all sorts of alien extraterrestrial disinfo stuff for years. But they've got it now. I've got to find it again. Here it is. CNN misattributes Planet X as brown dwarf. CNN had to acknowledge the approach of a skyward anomaly, but instead of acknowledging it as Planet X, they have chosen to refer to it simply as a brown dwarf. Now, guess what the date is on this article here from the Agora Cosmopolitan, the Canadian is what it's called, agoracosmopolitan.com, the Canadian, August 15, 2011. This video was posted on the 14th. So simultaneously here, we have the release of these planted news stories along with this video, which is not a current video. No, it's not a current. See, what these disinfo types don't count on is people like me who cover the news every day and who remember things that they cover from past shows. Now, this, and I've got it paused here on the video, CNN 2011 Nibiru alert. I'll put a link to it in the chat room for you guys. And when I write an article on this, I'll make sure and get all these links in there as well. But I've got it paused right on about the 2-second mark, and right underneath the ticker where it says huge hidden object in space, dwarf star or planet found in our solar system, it says search continues for escaped soldier accused of rape. Now, I saw this. Now, wait a minute. This was back in February when they talked about that they were going to find this, and I indeed went and found those news articles. Largest planet in the solar system could be about to be discovered, and it's up to 4 times the size of Jupiter. February 14th, 2011. They were calling it Tyche, and we covered that here on the show. Now, at the bottom of that ticker, it also says, search continues for escaped soldier accused of rape. Now, remember, that was back in February when that happened. And here, indeed, is the story. Search still on for escaped soldier accused in rape. When was this published? February 14th, 2011. The same exact date as this Daily Mail article I have here from February 14, 2011. Largest planet in the solar system could be about to be discovered. So we have most definitely proven here, ladies and gentlemen, that this video that's being touted by all these websites is CNN saying that Nibiru is an old video that they've repackaged and put out and claimed to have been shot from a television with a video camera yesterday. I'll put links to all these articles in the chat room so you can see them. The one with the accused rape. And you can check all this out for yourself, but definitively proven beyond any shadow of doubt that this was an operation. Now, simultaneously with that, we also have, and now I think I closed out of it earlier. Let me go back here. Yeah, here it is. Nobel Prize winner Paul Krugman, at the same time, yesterday, this was posted yesterday, is on CNN saying that an alien invasion would see the economy sorted in 18 months. So I mean, are you starting to see the patterns here? I mean, because I talk about Sumerian texts and we read the kind of stuff that we do here, and we talk about the ancient alien stuff, people try to lump me in with all that, and that's not often the case. I'm just looking for the truth as much as anybody else is. But I'm not going to jump on board with something just because people are trying to tell me that's what I'm supposed to jump on board with. This is way too coincidental. We have this planted video, and you've got multiple websites, folks. You can go and look on Google yourself. Multiple websites touting this as, oh my gosh, this was filmed yesterday. CNN says it's happening right now. When we've proven this is recycled from a story they aired back in February. But they're telling people that, no, this happened right now. It's been spotted right now. It's happening. At the same time, Paul Krugman comes out and says, yeah, we'd see the economy sorted out in 18 months if we had an alien invasion right now. Somebody needs to get Orson Welles on the phone. I hate to have to say this, man, but I think all you Nibiru fuckers who out there who for years have been trying to get people to believe this, I think you've been busted cold-blooded. I really do. Because whoever put this out is obviously one of those people, and they will do anything. That's why I had a problem with a lot of the no-plane people that I saw. I don't have a problem with people that believe in the no-plane theory when it comes to 9/11. There are a lot of people that, you can't believe in that, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if you believe in it or not. It's fine. If you believe there's evidence to support it, and that's what you believe, then believe that, goddammit. Don't let anybody tell you any different. But at the same time, I've seen the same kind of stuff out of those guys. The footage of these disappearing planes where you bring them up in a professional video editor and you can see frames dropping out. Where they've gone in and doctored a lot of this. See, that's the problem I have with all this. Because there's photographic evidence that both no-planers and these Nibiru people have been faking stuff and planning stories and put it out there. And that certainly doesn't, to me, fit the behavior of somebody who's seeking truth. If you claim you're really seeking truth, then you don't lie and plant things and just completely make stuff up if you're right. So this is highly, highly suspect to me, and then this happening right on top of the same time as Paul Krugman being coincidentally also on CNN, where they claimed this video was shot from yesterday on television, when indeed this was actually aired. Again, we have both the articles. The proof is in the pudding there with the ticker at the bottom. Since the Daily Mail article talking about the appearance of this brown dwarf in our atmosphere coincides exactly with the ticker at the bottom where they were searching for this escaped soldier accused of rape. So there you go. Close the books on that one. Classic case of disinformation, classic case of them trying to spread fear and panic, and also trying to make people who are actually trying to do legitimate research and do legitimate work into these topics, look like these clowns who just make stuff up and say stuff's going to happen when it's not. And that's exactly what they want. We've got a massive, massive operation going on all fronts right now, ladies and gentlemen. They're ramping everything up. They're ramping the propaganda up. It's coming in all forms. I don't think, and this is always the case, but it's increased every year. I always tend to watch the summer movies, just to see what kind of propaganda they're putting in them. And all of them this summer have been these type of films. The new Planet Apes, the Apes film, it was totally aimed towards trying to stir up civil unrest and trying to black on white crime and black on white race war type stuff, totally aimed at trying to get black people to and I think those Planet of the Apes movies always had tons of racist stuff in them. My God, they're always depicting the monkeys as black people and having them played by black actors. It's just it's a twisted thing that they do. And I saw that definitely in this new Planet of the Apes film, which totally sucked, by the way. Watch it on BitTorrent like I did. But, my God. They're ramping this all up on all fronts. And again, you have to be careful what you believe right now more than ever. And it's very difficult to also still cling to your, preconceived conceptions of what is possible. Because everything is going towards trying to create mass panic, mass pandemonium, mass fear, so they can harness all of our energy that we put towards these pre-planted concerns and fears of the end times and the Nibiru and the financial collapse and World War III. Someone, somewhere, whatever it is, whatever entity it is, or, you believe it's angels or demons or whatever have you, whatever you believe out there, something is trying to get us to have a specific response, everyone on the planet, just like they did on 9/11, to something that they can then take that huge amount of energy, because every time you put out a thought or you're having a feeling or an emotion, it puts out an energy. When you have everyone simultaneously around the world feeling one same specific energy, these entities in these other dimensions love to be able to take pieces of that energy and harness that and use it for their own devices. For whatever reasons, somebody or something is trying to get us to have a simultaneous belief that, everything is ending. We're coming to the end of the world. They want everybody to have that simultaneous belief. And I don't think that you can think that it's for any other reason other than they want us to manifest that reality into being, because manifesting your reality into being is very real. And if we were able to manifest a reality of an end of war and suffering, an end of global domination of the people, where humankind steer their own destiny, not where it's steered by a bunch of inbreds who think they're gods with a divine right to rule over us. But they're not going to give us that chance. They want us to destroy each other and to stir enough shit up so they have no choice but to justify destroying us. That's why they want us all fighting. That's why they want us in a civil war. That's why they're trying to, radicalize Americans and American right-wingers and gun owners specifically into a violent overthrow of the government. They pump them full of this constitutional founding father stuff and get them believing that the same things that applied then apply now, and that's what we should do. They need us to give them an excuse to kill a whole bunch of us. Why do we want to give them that excuse? There's no reason for it, folks. If all this goes down, it's because of our own stupidity, because we were too stupid to realize we've been led down that route. And I think it is going to go that route. I think we are going to be too goddamn stupid to pull our heads out of our asses and realize that we're killing each other, or we may be killing each other, and it's all by their design, by their plan, not ours. Humans are incapable of making a decision to just wipe out each other unless they have prodding and an outside influence which is making them think that. Otherwise, we would have done it by now. People have talked about, and I've talked about even, it just appears that the whole rush of, the raising the price of gold is to get everybody to change their worthless paper dollars, those magical talismans, into hard gold. Because when the currency collapses, the money's going to be worth nothing, but the gold's still going to be worth something, right? So if they get us into a full-blown civil war, declare martial law, collapse the economy, collapse the dollar, and you've got all these people in gold, and there's a civil war going on, you don't think they're going to go around and round up the gold in the United States of America? They've done it once. They have done it once. They will do it again. But hell, they're gonna tank it anyway and buy it up for pennies on the dollar. But why are they doing this? It seems that there's a horde going on, doesn't there? I mean, does that play into the whole idea of people saying, the Nibiru are coming back to take the rest of the gold? Or, coming down here to enslave us and make us mine the rest of the resources they need for their planet? Is that what's going on? Are the elite, do the elite already know this? Do they already have stargates and all these things on Earth and on Mars and other places where they're collecting all the gold and taking all this stuff and jumping over there and hiding it from them? I don't know. Who knows? But there's just a huge amount of cognitive dissonance going on where they want us to jump on to a belief that's being planted into us, and they want us to have a strong emotional reaction to something that may eventually lead to us violent behavior. Look at what's going on over there and what's gone on there in England. Prime example of that. When you push a nation and you push a people to the brink of wanting to explode through economic hardship and depression and, lack of jobs, lack of anything, it doesn't take much of a spark, and that's exactly what happened in the UK for that to pop off. And there's no question they engineered that. There's no question they caused that to happen. And I think it was a dry run. They did it just like Katrina was a dry run. Katrina was a dry run to see what would happen if they just let an entire city in the United States of America collapse on itself. For what purpose? Well, for the purpose of seeing what would happen in the event that they let an entire country collapse down upon itself. So that was a dry run for that, which is going to come after the next big run, which is to do exactly what they did in the UK recently in the United States. Cities burning, people in the streets, fighting, looting, everything else, martial law, pandemonium, military troops on the street. That's what they want. But they only get that if we give them the response that they want, that they're trying to program us with through the media, through culture, through movies, through everything. If we don't react in the way they want us to, they can't win. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, my show only reaches, a couple of hundred people a night or a couple of thousand people a day or, 5,000-10,000 people a week. And that's not going to cut it. So, I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to get up here every day and still do this, but I got to tell you, if there's not more people like me reaching a lot more people with that message right there, we're doomed. That's just all there is to it. They are getting us exactly where they want us, and by the time people figure it out, it's going to be too late. So whether they get you thinking that, it's going to be the end of the world through flood and biblical prophecy, or whether they get you believing that Nibiru and the aliens are coming back and going to invade or whatever, it doesn't matter. They still got you. They still got the response out of you that they were wanting. Why do they put something on the news? Why do they put something on TV on the news? Why do they put something in the news? Why is the news and all this stuff there in general? To inform you? No. You think these people want you informed? We have news and we have media so that there is outlets for them to provide you with what they want you to know at this current moment in time. And that's all there is to it. Anything we are able to get from mainstream news sources, myself included, is there because they want us to know it. The things they don't want us to know about, we don't hear about. And more I've seen a shift from the news where everything is garnered towards getting a specific response. Now, it may have been that way longer than I've been paying attention. But I have to say, in the 4 years I've been doing radio, that it has ramped up and increased more than I've ever seen it. Everything is designed to get a reaction out of you. Notice how there's just more and more material every day for shows like mine. You guys don't notice that? I started noticing that a long time ago, before I was even doing a show. Isn't it funny that the mainstream media just continues to provide us all with a huge amount of, topics and things to talk about? It's like, but then we talk about them and we're called conspiracy theorists. And they're doing the same thing. They're corralling us into a category right where they want us, so they can use us as a filter for what they consider to be okay to talk about and acceptable to talk about because it fits the agenda and it fits the plan, and things that we're going to call disinfo because they're too close to the truth, and the Pope's going to get mad if you talk about it, or Inspector General of the Jesuit Order is going to have a hissy fit or something. But that's how it works. Man, we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. How long have we going here? 30 minutes. Man, oh man, oh man! I've got so many emails I've got to answer to. If I haven't answered your email back, I apologize. I'll do my best to do that very soon. I'm going to go ahead and continue all the news tonight. I've got too much. I've got to get into it all. We've got so much here. Oh, here's one. This is something we've all known and talked about here, because we know these sick, sadistic fuckers have their tentacles in everything. Alex Constantine's done a lot of work in researching and exposing the Catholic and Vatican control and of the music and film industry, and how that also coincides with people in the entertainment industry being in the Knights of Malta. Frank Sinatra was running the entire music industry in his time. He was Knights of Malta. He was known to be working and involved with the mob and some of the people that may have been involved in the Kennedy assassination, which we know directly ties back to Knights of Malta all over the board, from all the people that Kennedy fired to the CIA, Allen Dulles, and all those guys, the Hunt brothers in Dallas, who put out the wanted for treason poster of JFK the night before the assassination. So we've got these guys all over music, movies, every which way to Sunday. We know these guys are all child molesters. Corey Feldman says pedophilia is the number one problem in Hollywood, contributed to Corey Haim's death. According to Corey Feldman, former child star and best friend of the late Corey Haim, child molestation has run rampant in the entertainment industry. The number one problem in Hollywood was and is and will always be pedophilia. So I guess this is an admission that him and the other dude, Corey Haim, were molested. Because I always thought those guys were kind of, they just kind of seemed like they were kind of homosexual to me. No offense to them, but I think we know why now. It probably wasn't their fault. These guys are sick, man. I've heard all kinds of stories from chicks about, oh yeah, we want you to be in this movie or whatever, but you go in and there's a fucking director sitting there with his cock hanging out. These guys are sick. The number one problem in Hollywood was and always will be pedophilia. And that pedophilia goes right back to those same pedophiles in the Jesuit order and the Vatican and everything else. Those are the guys that run Hollywood. But they put their front men, the men that they let run the business end of things for them, the Jews, in charge of this. And then that's why you've got, it wasn't both of these guys, aren't both of they Jews? And Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, aren't they both Jewish? See what I mean? So when they need a kid to molest, or they need, somebody to, run a movie studio. Again, in the Encyclopedia Judaica, it states that the Rothschilds are the guardians of the Vatican's treasury. That is their job. That's what they do. That single-handedly wraps up what the entire why the red herring of the Jews run everything is there. They're the front men. They're made to look like they're in charge. The real people in charge never get fingered. But see, now that this stuff is coming out with all these connections back to pedophilia and Hollywood and the connections we know about there, now so people are starting to figure out really what's going on here. There's a casting couch even for children. That is sick. They bring 8-year-olds in and make them, let them molest them, and then they'll give them a part. I mean, it's just disgusting. But again, it proves what we know, that the people that are really running this show are coming from that end of things. We talked about. It's interesting that this whole Nibiru thing, with this video that was recycled from one that came out back in February, people are touting it as having just now come out, been a recent report over the weekend. It's interesting that last week on Thursday, August 11th, we had this revelation from space.com. Coal black alien planet is darkest ever seen. An alien world blacker than coal, the darkest planet ever known, has been discovered in the galaxy, in the constellation Draco. Now, this thing looks like, I mean, my God, this thing looks like fucking Nibiru. It's a crazy, crazy looking thing. But it's funny that just came out and then that sort of disinfo comes out. I mean, they're trying to cover up this. A lot of cognitive dissonance happening here. I got to point this out, too. A lot of you out there will probably be familiar with the fact that they've been doctoring and colorizing a lot of the pictures from Mars for a great many years. And there are actual pictures. Mars actually has an atmosphere. And they've told us that it's red and it doesn't have an atmosphere. But all they've shown us from a lot of this stuff through the years have been black and white photos or color photos. They've turned black and white to hide the atmosphere. Well, I found an example here from a Daily Mail article. Mars, as you've never seen it before. Opportunity finally arrives at the rim of a great crater, giant crater, for one last adventure. All the photos in this, except two, are in black and white. One towards the bottom of the page is a NASA picture of the orbiter. And if you scroll down and look at it, you can see that the ground is very, very red. The background hills are very, very red. And the sky is somewhat reddish with a reddish to tan tint. That's NASA's depiction of what Mars looks like, right? But at the top of this article, there is a huge full high-def picture, and they forgot to red out the background. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see that the sky is very blue there on Mars, as if it has an atmosphere. Now, that's unbelievable because we've seen pictures like this where we've seen undoctored ones. But somebody forgot to doctor that picture. I bet they change it eventually. I'm going to save that picture for my records because it's unbelievable. Look at that. Doesn't a blue sky indicate an atmosphere? People have said for the longest time it has an atmosphere, and that possibly there was some geoengineering going on recently there. That's just an unbelievable picture. We'll get that up on the website under the news section as well. I sent Man Hydra, our webmaster, a big healthy stack of news and stuff to post on the website tonight. So check that later for something there. First ever animal with artificial information in its genetic code has been created by scientists. The world's first animal with artificial information in its genetic code has been created by scientists. The technique could throw open the possibility for scientists to create new man-made properties in a wide range of animals. Using this method, scientists could be granted atom-by-atom control over molecules in living things. Researchers from Medical Research Council Laboratory of Molecular Biology in Cambridge modified the genetic code of a nematode worm, 1 millimeter long invertebrates with just 1,000 cells in their transparent bodies. The team proved their results using a fluorescent dye. The artificial protein they introduced into the worm's DNA contained a fluorescent dye that glows cherry red under an ultraviolet light. For the method to have worked, the protein should be replicated in every cell of the worm's body so that the worm lights up completely under the rays. If the technique failed, there would be no glow, so it didn't fail. So this is a new frontier. Does this tell us that they have the ability now to be able to take out current existing information in a living creature's genetic code and replace it with an artificial information that then make the organism operate a different way? Because if it is, this is the scariest form of, biological warfare you could imagine. And bet your bottom dollar, if they're developing this for anything, they're developing it for weapons purposes. There's just no anything else they could be doing with any of this. Unbelievable. Speaking of unbelievable, the transhumanist thing is really starting to pick up and take off too. They'll probably tie the transhumanist thing in with the rapture, UFO, alien, end of the world, World War III stuff. Oh, get the implant, get the chip, get the biological interface, get the mark. You got to have it, otherwise, you won't live forever, and you can't be a god with the aliens. Teenager with a Mercedes hand. Car firm grants $35,000 wish for a disabled boy. They give this kid a robotic arm, the first of its kind. And they're going to put a little Mercedes logo on that because it was designed by Mercedes. Oh, isn't that great? See, I've been talking about this stuff forever. Ray Kurzweil, the famous transhumanist, he, aside from being wanting to live forever and merge with machines and, live like gods and all that stuff, he's also actually the inventor of the Kurzweil synthesizer. Now, these came out in the 1980s, were first introduced, and where they fit into the whole synthesizer and keyboard ranges is that, well, for instance, when synthesizers were first coming, the first synthesizer ever was the Theremin, and then later on, Bob Moog invented the Moog synthesizer. There were subsequent copies after that. And with the synthesizer, the guys who created those weren't trying to emulate real instruments like trumpets or strings or drums or anything like that. They were just trying to create new sounds. What Kurzweil did is he did the reverse of that, and he was the first that started creating synthesizers and keyboards that would replicate and sample and copy existing instruments like acoustic pianos, trumpets, horns, guitars, whatever have you. And one of the first customers that Ray Kurzweil had for these was Stevie Wonder. And he worked extensively with Stevie Wonder, gave him some of the first Kurzweil keyboards that came out. And I've been saying for years that you're probably going to see Ray Kurzweil and Stevie Wonder show up on the Grammys, and Stevie Wonder's going to take his sunglasses off, and he's going to be able to see because he got the neural implant, and has now merged with machines. And now here's a kid with a Mercedes hand. I mean, they're just bringing this stuff out more and more every day. Insanity. Here's an example of a guy who was standing up for the illusion of, private property and the illusion of privacy and the illusion of needing a warrant and the illusion of trespassing. See, if you do any of those things, they take you to jail. But if the cops trespass on your property, well, that's okay. And this is a sad story. And I'll tell you this, I don't know what the deal is. If you're an animal lover out there like I am, and you like dogs, I don't know what the deal is, but they have been ordering these cops. I started seeing this 10 years ago in Dallas. It's happening a lot right now, and people are acting like it just now started happening. I saw this 10 years ago in Dallas. I was with a friend one time. She had her little fluffy, cute little foo-foo dog in the car. And she was driving, and we got pulled over, and the dog was sitting in my lap barking, and the cop pulls his fucking gun out on us, man. Fucking draws on us, sitting right there in the goddamn car. Calm that goddamn dog down, or I'm going to fucking shoot it right now. I had never seen anything like that. And now, cops are getting called to neighbors' houses. And, somebody's dog's barking across the street in the back fence, and the cop just goes over and shoots the fucking dog twice in the head, and he doesn't even get so much as a slap on the wrist for it. And they're being ordered to shoot people. I'm sorry. Look, it should go both ways, and it probably will start going both ways. I'll tell you this. If you shoot a dog cop, it's the same penalty as shooting a real human cop. But if they shoot your dog, even if your dog's not a threat, then they don't even get so much as a slap on the wrist. Well, you know what? It doesn't need to go both ways. They kill your dog. They come and shoot your dog for no good goddamn reason. Folks, I believe, personally, you ought to have a fucking right to shoot them and kill them back. Now, I don't condone violence, and I don't suggest violence by anybody. But I'm going to tell you what's right and what's right. Your dog, in a lot of people's lives, is a family member, just like a person. No different than a person, and equal. Were you soulless bastards out there who can't get down to a level with an animal like that? Obviously, you can't get down to that level with a person like that, so how are you going to get down to that level with a dog? It's much more complicated to get down to that level, but you would want to think it's a dog or whatever, so who cares? Let's shoot it. Well, in a lot of people's families, the dogs or whatever are part of the family. And if you try to harm one, you're going to get the same response out of that person you would get out of them if you tried to harm one of their family members unjustified. And a police officer was killed while responding to a domestic disturbance in a small eastern Pennsylvania borough, had pointed a stun gun at two dogs before being shot, court records reveal. Freemansburg police officer Robert Lasso had pointed at the attacking dogs. Now, they weren't, notice how they, right there, they say attacking, but they come back and tell you later on that these dogs weren't attacking. They were going crazy because, well, a lot of dogs, most dogs, when they see somebody that's in a fucking pig uniform rolling up thinking they're all bad, they see that as a threat. It's black. They're walking up, most of them walk up all with their fucking shoulders all burrowed up, ready to snap. Cops, I mean, dogs rather operate on vibrations. You know the song by the Beach Boys, good, 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 good vibrations. That's what that song was written about. Vibrations. Your energy, your vibe, man. It's your vibe, man. You know where that comes from? I don't like the vibe in here, man. It's bad. The vibe is bad. Vibe is a shortened term for vibration. Da-da-da. We all put out a certain vibration. Police, in general, put out a very negative, threatening energy. Dogs respond in that such way. But because we're also, programmed by television and media and everything else, we don't know those things. The dogs are sensitive to that. We just tell our police, just shoot the dog. So, but it doesn't say anything down here that the dog was threatening later on. Freemansburg police officer Robert Lasso had pointed at the attacking dogs when the homeowner pulled out a shotgun and fired the fatal blast on Thursday. Now, again, I'm reading on. That's not how it happened. Well, the dogs were attacking. He pointed a taser at them, and this guy shot him with a shotgun. That's it. Well, no, they were coming to his house when they didn't have a warrant. And the guy on the other end of the horn, the sergeant, were ordered that they shoot. He heard the dogs barking on the other end and said, "Shoot those dogs right now." He tried to kill my dogs and pointed a gun in my face, Hitcho said. According to the documents, I don't care if you're a cop or not. Unbelievable. The officer had been responding to a report of a disturbance and ended up at the back of Hitcho's house. Not a disturbance at his house, though. That's another thing. It wasn't a disturbance there. It was a disturbance at somebody else's house. But he ended up at the back of this other guy's house responding to another call. And when the guy's dogs were in the backyard, the dogs started going ballistic. He calls his boss for backup. The boss on backup hears the dogs barking and says, "Shoot those goddamn dogs right now. Tase them." Police Chief George Brunio, who arrived after Mr. Lasso requested assistance, instructed him to, quote, "shoot the dogs," and that's when the homeowner pulled out a shotgun and fired. Mr. Lasso, 31, a married father of two, has been taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead a short time later. Well, look, if you try to shoot someone's animals, cops, you need to understand those animals are going to be defended with the same vigor as a person would. mean, if cops start shooting one of our dogs, I'd shoot them too myself. I got to say that. Oh, it just makes my blood boil. All right, we're going to take a break, come back, and get into more news for you here tonight. I've got a lot to get into. GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com. I'll try to get into emails, and I don't know if I will or not. I got so much news and stuff I got to cover. I don't even know if I'm going to read tonight, but lots more to talk about. This is the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Stay with us. Oh, yeah, back here with you on the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for the late night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. Monday going into Tuesday now, 15th into the 16th, 2011, August. Glad you could be with us here tonight. Got more news and information for you here. My website where this broadcast originates from is www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. Please use the chip-in banner and the donate button there at the website to support our work. We don't have commercials. We don't have advertisements. We don't have sponsors. We don't have banner ads on the website. None of that stuff. We don't try to sell you anything. Most of all, we don't try to sell you an ideology. We don't try to sell you crap you don't need. We just we're trying to change the format of that here and think that people that value topics that are important and also getting people to understand what is attempted to be done to them. And we've got to reach more people than we're reaching right now. So please donate and support there. I like having the goal we set every week. It seems that people respond to that. So we'll start doing that on a regular weekly basis here. Shut up! Sorry, my cat is meowing in the background. Let's see what else we have in the news here tonight. Now this is just, it seems odd to me. They're touting some new computer crystal technology that stores memory for a hard drive for a computer, but it's always been based on crystals. Crystals have been a huge component in all computer systems from day one. That's why the Hewlett-Packard Corporation has the world's leading crystal experts. They work for Hewlett-Packard. That's where they took the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull to be analyzed. They were the ones that determined that it wasn't created in Earth gravity. But here's this article, and they're saying Superman memory crystals to become a reality. A scientist store computer data on a powerful glass hard drive. Well, the ancient Lemurians and the ancient Atlanteans were all said to have used crystal technology to store records, to store data. So this is, again, this is not a new technology. I mean, there are actual crystals, the type of crystals that are called Lemurian seed crystals, record keepers. And suppose I have one actually right here on my desk, actually, as a matter of fact. I haven't picked this one up in a while. Hello. But you can see, like, the little, it has, I'm sitting here holding it, and it's got lines in the side of it. On each edge, there are lines, and supposedly that's what these lines are. Each one, it's like Braille almost. Supposedly these things all have information encoded into them. That if you are able to focus your concentration on them or learn how to use them properly in that manner, you can learn how to access things like the Akashic records and that kind of stuff. So this, that to me was what, Superman was doing when he was going to the Fortress of Solitude, in using the crystals there in the cave. That was, to me, always a reference to, what we've always known about crystal technology. But again, they're trying to roll this out as if it's new. Computer users could soon be saving their work onto hard drives made of glass after scientists developed memory crystals similar to those in the Superman films. Researchers have used laser beams to alter glass to make it possible to store memory inside, just as Clark Kent does in his Fortress of Solitude. Well, first off, when he's doing the Fortress of Solitude thing, he's not Clark Kent. He's Superman. So, I mean, right there. You can't even get that right. Crazy stuff. Let's see what else we have here tonight. You guys hear about this? The TSA is now doing Israeli-style chat downs. Yeah, they're implementing the new behavioral screening program where they go, oh, well, hey, how's it going? Yeah, how are you doing today? So, if you happen to have a bad day now, or you're not looking forward to going on on the trip you're going on because maybe it's for work and your job sucks and your bitching, nagging wife won't let you quit because she won't be able to go to the Gap twice a week and, so you're going to some shitty job, or maybe you're going to a funeral, a loved one died, you're not in the best mood. Now, one of these thugs comes up to you and starts using this Israeli Mossad-style chat down talk. Hey, how you doing today, buddy? How you doing? I'm not doing too fucking good, actually. My grandma just died. Oh, really? You seem like you got an attitude. I think we're going to have to take you over here and frisk you down and fill your junk because you seem like, no, actually, I didn't. My grandmother just died. I'm kind of in a bad... Yeah, you are in a bad mood. Bill, take him over here and frisk him down. Make sure you grab his shit extra good. I'm playing some of that white stuff on him, too, just to fuck with him. Yeah. It's come through my line in a bad day again, man. Yeah. Well, next time, don't let your grandmother die. You think I'm being funny. That's what these guys literally do. I can tell me stories we've read about this stuff. U.S. releases CIA documents on Bay of Pigs invasion. Lots of Kennedy stuff coming out lately. You guys notice this? Newly declassified U.S. documents show a CIA operative accidentally fired on friendly pilots during the 1961 Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba. The B-26 bombers flown by the Cuban exiles were disguised to look like Cuban military planes, but the ruse worked too well, the documents indicated. It was not clear, though, if anyone was hurt. The documents also show U.S. officials authorized limited use of napalm on military targets and to protect the invasion's beachhead area. Earlier this month, the U.S. made public all but one of 5 top-secret volumes covering the CIA's official history of the failed attack on Fidel Castro's fledgling government. The move came in response to a lawsuit filed in April by the independent Washington-based National Security Archive. The nonprofit research group has sought for years to declassify all 5 volumes of the invasion. The archive posted more of the documents on its website on Monday. In them, CIA operative Grayston Lynch, who was in charge of guns aboard one of the landing aircraft that remained off the Cuban coast during the invasion, recalled warning the exile pilots to stay away from us because we couldn't tell them from the Castro planes. He said the B-26 bombers failed to heed his final warning. We ended up shooting at 2 or 3 of them, he said, explaining our planes were a little nosy and they wanted to take a look at the action. In the report, 2 U.S. pilots described dropping bombs and napalm on Cuban troops that left the convoy badly messed up. Initially, officials hesitated to use napalm because it would cause concern and public outcry, the documents indicated, but by the second day of fighting, the notion had gone by the board in favor of anything that might reverse the situation in Cuba in favor of the exile brigade forces. The invasion by CIA-trained Cuban exiles was a pivotal moment in U.S.-Cuba relations and has become something of a what-not-to-do case study in U.S. covert actions. We are having one step closer to having a complete record of the worst debacle of U.S. clandestine operations. But, of course, what they haven't come out with is the stuff where, they fully admit that they went over JFK's head and the CIA made that call above the head of the commander-in-chief, which was what led to Kennedy basically coming out and trying, and he was a politician. And he was in the power structure, and he was in the bloodline, and he was one of the elite. That's what's so interesting about Kennedy. He was one of them, but he's one of the one of the few, if not the only, that I can think of. Probably the only one that we know of that saw that, oh, wait a second, I'm not really running anything here. I really have no power. And there is a power greater than me that is steering events in ways I have no control over, yet doing it in my name and assigning the blame for these world events and these things happening on me because I'm the president. And he went nuts, man. He did what any person with a soul and a heart would do, no matter who, got them there and how much power was above them. He went fucking nuts. He started dismantling the CIA. He fired Alan Dulles, Richard Dulles, all the top Knights of Malta guys, all the top Vatican guys. He went ballistic. They fought back and got revenge on him and taught Kennedy and everybody not to fuck with the elite, not to fuck with the power structure. But they're coming out with this more and more. Did you the new Transformers movie as well was chock full of that. Chock full of Masonic symbology, just littered with it. All those Transformer movies are. They're just littered with Masonic symbology here and there. They even had fucking Buzz Aldrin in the new one. And that's what they do. They tie in this alien thing, Transformers, with Apollo and the moon, and they go to the dark side of the moon and find this Transformer thing. And that's why Kennedy launched the space program, was to go up there and find this alien thing, which coincides with my research into the rock wall and how Kennedy was allegedly coming to Dallas to reveal that, the remnants of an extraterrestrial civilization were found in the suburbs of Dallas, where the ancient rock wall was, which they then summarily buried. We had last week the Jackie Onassis tapes that are now coming out, where she's saying that, Lyndon Baines Johnson and a cabal of rich Texans murdered her husband. See how they're all starting to let this out now? Just like they wanted the truth about 9/11 to spread worldwide. Why is that? Everything is garnered towards bringing down the United States of America, because if the United States of America ever happened to be taken over by people who were not in the bloodlines, in the power structure, in politics at all, not controlled by any of these entities, the real power structure in charge would have a serious problem on their hands. So that's why they perpetuated this phony left-right paradigm, this phony ideology that if you vote, you have power and your vote matters and you really have a say in voting elected officials. Bullshit. If we had that, we wouldn't be enslaved. If we had that, we wouldn't have a police state. We wouldn't have all this stuff. We wouldn't have a war machine. That can only be perpetuated on lies. So that's why. They have to bring the United States. It's too, the way it's set up in the hands of the what they would perceive as the wrong people, what we would perceive as the right people. In the hands of the right people, it could be a force that would be reckoned with. So they had to corrupt what they originally started, what they originally created. That's what people can't wrap their minds around. Yeah, the founding fathers were, taking their orders from Rome, taking their orders from the Vatican, taking their orders from the Jesuits. Yes, they were involved in Freemasonry and all the rest of this stuff. They can't wrap their minds around the fact the same people that set up the United States for the further reaching power of the power structure is now the same entity that's bringing it down. So you're going to get the truth about 9/11 to come out because they're going to use it to bring down the United States. You're going to get the truth about Kennedy brought out to show how evil the United States is. You're going to get all the stuff about the war that's going to come out. All the stuff about extraterrestrials, that's why they're ramping that up. They're going to tell us the aliens are here to invade us and they're here to enslave us, and so we have to unite under a world government to fight them. And right as they're telling us we need to unite under a world government to fight them, you're going to have a lot of people fighting back. That's where you're going to see civil war and unrest break out, because a lot of people are not going to want to go for that world order no matter what. And then, boom, they'll come out and tell the world, well, the United States has been covering up aliens, the existence of this. We have voluminous evidence of that. They've been covering this up since Roswell in 47, and had we known about this, we would have known this was a threat. We could have already been dealing with this. So yet another reason why America needs to come down. All of this stuff, folks. I've been telling people for the longest time, be careful if you are involved in the research community or involved in this stuff like I am. Every single one of us has a responsibility to be aware that at any given time, we may be inadvertently, even against our own knowledge, being used for the benefit of them. Because like I said, all the news that we cover, everybody on this stuff always prizes, but we only get our stories from mainstream news sources. Yeah, all the stuff I cover on my show comes from mainstream news sources. Yes. And that's why sometimes, you'll hear me, I won't want to cover news and I won't want to talk about certain things. Because we have to constantly be on the guard and not allow ourselves to have what we're looking at and thinking about and our information, our direction, taken down the paths they want us to. That's why more and more they're verifying this stuff and analyzing this and allowing it to be in TV and Ancient Aliens and all these movies in Hollywood. There's a reason why they're allowing this stuff to get mainstream attention now. And it's so they can steer the conversation back towards where they want it to be, so they can control it, so that no real truth ever comes out, a la Coast to Coast AM and Alex Jones and all this. Somebody sent me a message the other day and said, I might have more success if I didn't choose my show wasn't competing with Coast to Coast AM. I'm not competing with anybody for anything because it's not about that for me. I could do my show anytime I wanted to do it. I used to do my show 11 to 3 every day when I was on Oracle, head-to-head with Alex Jones. But that's not where my show belongs, and my show belongs where it belongs. Unfortunately, there's only so many hours in the day, and this is the best time for me to do a show because other times I'm working on the movies or I'm working on stuff with a band or anything else. And I just like the vibe of doing it at night. I'm doing the show, talking about the stuff I'm talking about 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's too early to be talking about this kind of shit. And like I said, I don't consider myself to be competing with anybody. It's not the way I approach this. I do my show when I want to do it, and that's how I'm going to continue to do it. It's not. I've just started doing it this late over the past, just this year. But it's changed. Last year I was doing it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon a lot, 6 o'clock in the evening, whatever. I might go back to that eventually. It's that's the thing for me is I just don't like to stay stagnant with one. I get stagnant with one thing for too long. I have to change and do something else. Let's see what else we have tonight. Oh, this is great. We got self-proclaimed vampires and chupacabras and shit running around. It's getting crazy, man. People are losing their fucking minds because of the heat and because of the economy and because of media and everybody steering where they want this to go. Lyle Bensley, 19, is accused of breaking into a woman's apartment in the 7800 block of Seawall Boulevard in Galveston, Texas. Bensley, who was wearing only boxers at the time, hissed and growled at the resident while biting her. He was on acid. The woman managed to get away by calling 911. And he said and then another article said that he told the cops that he needed to feed. That's what you get when taking acid and watching Twilight, you fag. Jesus Christ. When I was a teenager and 20-something, it was all the goths. Oh, I'm a goth. Oh, I'm a goth. I'm so depressed. I'm a goth. They'd always have on a fucking Cure t-shirt or, wear black hose around their wrists and they're so depressed and dark. Well, at least those fuckers didn't do that kind of shit. My God. Louisiana man beheads his 7-year-old special needs son. And the neighbors, he got caught when somebody was driving by and just happened to see the kid's head on the sidewalk near a garbage bag with a kid's dismembered body. And this guy just took this kid into the kitchen and decapitated him and dismembered his body right over the home's kitchen sink. and just left his head laying out by the, I'll just dump it out here by the trash. Fuck it. I mean, what goes somebody's head? A lot of this stuff, man, I think people sometimes don't even know why they're doing this stuff. Elf towers, Gwyn towers, mind control. It's running everywhere. Monarch triggers in movies and television. Oh, get your bullshit detector ready for this one. For how many years have we known that coffee is a carcinogen up there with smoking and everything else, and yet now, the pesticides and everything in coffee, it's been known. Coffee, if you drink coffee and smoke cigarettes, oh my God, pick one, do one or the other, but don't do both. But for years we've known coffee is one of the top carcinogens, and now, in another sick, Orwellian cognitive dissonance turn here, now they're trying to tell us that coffee actually may have an anti-cancer effect. Oh, okay. I want to hear this. Coffee has been shown to reduce the risk of skin cancer by helping kill off damaged cells that could otherwise turn into tumors. So skin cancer, coffee's good for skin cancer. Now, by the way, if you're a smoker, your skin's going to look great. Here's the good news. Your skin's going to look great. You're not going to get skin cancer. Your shit's not going to rot off, but by God, you're probably going to get leukemia or lymphoma or something like that and die that way. But hey, at least it won't be skin cancer, right? So they're not downplaying the cancer-causing effects of coffee at all, but they're upplaying its possible anti-skin cancer effects. But not yet, but still not mentioning that coffee is still, a carcinogen. Nice job, boys. Didn't think we'd pick up on that one, you fucking cock smokers. Oh, man. How much more of this can I even stand? Electronic skin tattoo has medical and gaming and spy uses. Here it is. Here it is. We've been hearing about Nibiru and the end of the world. We've been hearing about World War III and everything else. Now, you bet your bottom dollar, folks. You knew that they were going to be coming out with the mark. Oh, yeah, the mark, baby.
The mark of the motherfucking beast. That's right. The mark of the beast is here. Finally, we have the technology to take over the world. Suck Satan's cock.
A hair-thin electronic patch that adheres to the skin like a temporary tattoo could transform medical sensing, computer gaming, and even spy operations, according to a U.S. study published Thursday. The microelectronics technology, called an epidermal electronic system, EES, was developed by an international team of researchers from the United States, China, and Singapore, and is described in the journal Science. It's a technology that blurs the distinction between electronics and biology, said co-author John Rogers. Our goal was to develop an electronic technology that could integrate with the skin in a way that is mechanically and physiologically invisible to the user. Let me say that one more time, okay? Turn up your fucking speakers a little bit. Brew some coffee, do a line, whatever you got to do. Wake up for a minute, listen to me, put your ears on. Our goal was to develop an electronic technology that could integrate with the skin in a way that is mechanically and physiologically invisible to the user. Oh, it's great. Well, you won't even know you have the chip. Really? So we won't even know when you give it to us. See, I've been saying that for years. Everybody thinks they're going to line us up and chip us all. Man, it's not going to happen. They're going to chip us all, and we're not even going to know. We're probably all fucking chipped already. Might as well be. We're all on Facebook and smartphones and the internet. I mean, fuck, we're chipped whether we got a chip in us or not. You understand that, right? You don't have any illusions about that, do you? I hope not. Fuck it. Hey, man. It's all here. It's not coming anymore. This is from the Council for National Policy controlled media outlet WorldNet Daily, so take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how much there is to this, but it wouldn't surprise me based on everything else we know here. FBI wants businesses watching for customers paying with cash. Government calls buying news night flashlights, making extreme religious statements indicators of terrorism. So if you are seen going in and buying something, like hunting equipment or outdoor equipment, guns or ammo or flashlights or waterproof match, camping, you may just be going camping with some friends for the weekend, right? And you may have just listened to my show or somebody else's show. You're reading a book or an article or a website or listen to somebody's, watch a movie on YouTube or something. So you're going to buy some camping equipment. You're in the line at Walmart or wherever. And you start saying, God damn, I'm fucking tired of this shit. Walmart and their fucking Chinese goods and selling us out to the fucking banksters and New World Order. God damn it, I'm tired of this shit. I was talking to somebody while you're in line. Yeah, they hear that. Now that's all they need. They flag you and don't pay with cash, because paying with cash means that you're one of those people that believes that the cashless society is part of the mark of the beast. So paying with cash would indicate that you're one of those people that doesn't want to be seen on the grid. So that's suspect. Just days after the White House announced a community-based approach to combating terrorism in the United States, the FBI and other agencies were asking managers of surplus stores to spy on their customers, watching whether they pay in cash, make extreme religious statements, or purchase products such as waterproof matches. At the request from the government, it also is going to gun shops, fertilizer suppliers, motels, and hotels. Earlier this month, the Obama administration announced a new plan empowering local partners to prevent violent extremism in the United States. The report warns that while the Constitution recognizes freedom of expression, even for individuals who espouse unpopular, even hateful views, it is also the responsibility of government to deter plots by neo-Nazis and other Semitic hate groups, racial supremacists, and international and domestic terrorist groups. Painting that with a wide swath there, aren't they? And that's what I've been telling people the longest time. That's why there's so many of these white supremacist types in radio. They're all over the place. They're littered. That's why so many of these guys, I understand now why you radio hosts out there, you know who you are too. And I know you still listen to my show from time to time. You have operatives that listen to it to see if I talk about you and say one of your fucking pathetic names. God damn, I'd love to. I would stir the shit pot harder than fuck right now if I really wanted to. But I'm a nice guy, so I'm not going to do that. But I'll tell you what, to be real honest with you, my nice guy days are coming to a fucking end real quick. Real quick. Heat that final warning, each and every one of you out there. Real quick, my nice guy days are coming to an end. Like this week, coming to an end. Like today, coming to an end. This means you have been warned. God damn, there's a lot of people's names I'd love to get up here and name. I'll do it before it's over with. I'll tell you that. But that's why there's so many of these guys. White supremacist types running around, these fucking, white nationalists running around. Lee and I have had an encounter with one of those. Some of you probably know who it is. A pretty big name. But there's no doubt in your mind. If you're listening to this and you know who I'm talking about, and you're trying to doubt it in your mind, that person who you might like is a white supremacist, white nationalist, you need to think again, because it's true. And anti-Semitic hate groups. Oh, yeah, the Jews run everything. Oh, it's the Zionists. It's the Zionist influence. Zionist bankers. Zionist is that. Folks, that's why they want to get you in one of those corrals. So that if you consider yourself a truth seeker, you get roped into, this patriot movement stuff where you end up following one of these white nationalist leaders. They can pin you right in where they want you, and the leaders go on untouched. Just like the same model they used on Al-Qaeda, they're using now against patriots, truthers, teabaggers, anybody in general who has a problem with the power of the status quo. That's why I've been saying for 3 years now, 2008, I guess, was when I started declaring on air, I am not a part of the truth movement. I'm not a part of the patriot movement. I'm not a part of the teabaggers. I'm not a part of any of that stuff. I'm simply a researcher and someone who's trying to document stuff and put out information. I'm not getting into your phony, violent overthrow and all that stuff. I don't believe that's the answer. What's going to happen when you bring down the United States of America? Another form of government, a different sort, probably worse, is going to pop up right in its place. So no matter what, we're going to get government. And that's all these guys' solution. Oh, vote for Ron Paul. He's our only hope. No, our only hope is to quit letting other people run our country and run where we live and start running it for ourselves. That's the problem. That's the solution. Ron Paul will save us. Ron Paul will save us. Whether it's the United States of America, whether it's this government, or whether it's another government, if we don't take back control of our lives, we are going to have some form of government, whether national or global government or whatever, running all of our lives from cradle to grave until time immemorial. We got to start going after the head of the Hydra and quit going after the little body parts and everything else that just sprout right back up in their place. Let go of the red herrings. Let go of the scapegoats. Let go of the patsies. Let go of the Oswalds. And let go of this childish mentality and realize that the true source of power is the priest-class religious sector of Rome, the Vatican, the Jesuit order, Knights of Malta. That's the true power. They are the ones that have the secret knowledge and have been using it to enslave mankind, period. Whether it's the United States government or the Russian government, whoever else, the people are always going to be enslaved to some form of a government so long as we still allow ourselves to believe that somebody else knows better than us about our freedom. Nobody should know better than you or yourself what your freedom entails. But when we surrender that to a government entity or a power structure under the guise of security and protection, we get nothing in return. You don't get security and protection in return. Man, oh man. I gotta say, it's getting real interesting sitting back and watching all this stuff. And I'm going to continue to get up here every day, and I'm going to continue to get up here and try to warn people what's going down. I hope that people wake up to this and realize that there are much bigger fish to fry than each other. But the focus is being put on, we're all each other's problem. We're all the problem. It's us, blah, 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 blah. Divide and conquer. Oldest trick in the book. And you see people use that all the time. I see people using it against each other all the time. I mean, that's what we do. Yeah, as mammals, we always tend to mimic the elder of the tribes as we're forming, who we are. Because all we've been exposed to is selfishness and greed and fucking everybody over for the sake of, whatever your ideology is, you see people doing it all the time. You see people using divide and conquer against each other, and everyday life you see. And again, as we talked about with these ancient Sumerian texts, that's not something that we naturally have. That's something that would have to have been introduced to us for us to have it. And that's what all these things are. All these ideologies, all these control systems, all these mechanisms, they're artificially introduced to us, and we just follow them and don't question them, thinking that that's just naturally how things are. That's not how naturally things are. That's how the power structure has created the environment that they want the world to be. My work in my radio shows and my films, my God, we need new equipment. Oh man, it's all falling apart. My camera, my high-def camera's busted. I got to finish this film. Our work and our radio show and everything supports is relies on the support of listeners like you out there, folks. And if you value what I do here in these very interesting times, it's one of the sole voices out here trying to get people to look at the other elements of this. Please go to the website, theglobalreality.com. Use the chipping banner, the donate button there. We also have the P.O. Box address. If you'd like to send a check, that's down at the bottom below the chipping banner at my website, theglobalreality.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night for the show. My name's Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. You guys have a great night. Take care.